you please define the gospel?
Yeah, so what is the gospel? Is the gospel the 4 books in the Bible that are called gospels, or what do we mean by gospel? The word gospel, our English word gospel, is a translation of the word evangelion, basically, which is good news. Gospel is basically means good news, and comes from the word evangelion. You is good, and evangelion is like message or news. Yeah, so it derives from that word. When we talk of good news, why do people need good news? There has to be something wrong or something going on that is making people in need of a kind of news that would give them, as it were, relief. So people are lacking, maybe you could be in a situation where you lack peace and you lack joy and you lack maybe just hope. You're hopeless, and you need some form of news to give you that hope that you need, and that joy that you need, and that peace that you would need. And so the gospel, which is good news that comes to people who lack this peace and this joy and happiness and all the great things that a human being could have. And this good news, which is what we are going to be looking at. So the question is, before I get to the good news, I feel like it's best to go through the bad first. So why do people need good news? There is something that makes you in need of good news, right? Like I just said, your lack of peace, but what put us in that place where we, as human beings, do not have peace and joy and any good thing that life has to offer, where we don't have those? And the Bible makes it very clear that every human being was lost in trespasses and sins. That is in Ephesians. So that's the bad news. Adam's fall in the Garden of Eden. Paul says in Romans that through one man's sin came into the world. So everyone who comes after Adam, every offspring of Adam, is a sinner and in need of the gospel. Because when you are a sinner, the Bible says the wages of sin is death, and God had told Adam that the day you eat of the fruit of the tree, you shall die. So everybody who is living in sin, who has not had the gospel, or who has not believed the gospel, is headed or is going to die. Right? When you know that you're going to die, and that is the end of you, you obviously will not have lots of peace in your heart. You're basically hopeless. There's no hope for the future. And I don't know anybody who is living a joyful life knowing that their life, when it ends, that's the end of it. So the bad news, as I have tried to explain in this very long, lengthy statement I have made, is that sinners, all human beings were sinners deserving of hell. We are all headed to hell, going straight to hell. But God gave us the good news through His Son, Jesus Christ. And that Jesus came and died the death that everyone who believes in Him deserved. How did He die this death? It's obvious He went to the cross and bore the sins of the world and the guilt of the world upon Himself. So all the punishment that we deserve, every human being deserved for his or her sin, that is, he who has believed in Jesus took it upon Himself. So instead of God killing you and I, He killed Jesus basically in our place. So the punishment for the sin of every human being, Jesus took it upon Himself. So He basically acted as a substitute. And what does this mean? So, as unholy people, which means we are sinners, right? Unholy people meaning we are sinners, or unrighteous people, We lack righteousness, and we need righteousness to be able to stand before a holy God. Jesus does not only die in our place, but he dies and we receive his righteousness, and he gives us his righteousness. So we get his righteousness.